Hello hunters, and welcome to the double whammy of Monster Hunter 101 and the next installment of the Viewer's Choice video. This episode is for all the veterans out there that want to squeeze out every last drop of sweet Monster Hunter nectar and needs those deep cuts, the tips and tricks that few people know or utilize that need some attention. And that's just what I plan to do. Here are some tips that can help you out there in the wilds. If you like this video, be sure to leave me a thumbs up. If you want to keep up to date with the channel, subscribe for more content. And if you want to vote on future Viewer's Choice videos, head on over to the Patreon and become a member. On with the show. Stop the show. Editor Zygo here. It has come to my attention that YouTube has unveiled their new AI system, which has affected probably all YouTube channels to some extent, but little ol' me included. A new restricted mode has been introduced which, if on, may limit what videos of mine you can see while searching YouTube. Please be sure to turn this off so that you can see all my lovely videos in your feeds, and spread the word to other viewers on any channel so that they are not in the dark. Look at that! An IRL tip and trick. Starting with perhaps a more basic tip, shock traps are an incredibly useful tool for hunters between the quick placement and almost universal usage. But buying them and crafting them can be a chore. What is a poor hunter to do? Fear not, because a certain endemic life can do the same thing all in one. Great Thunderbugs, when activated, act like a shock trap for monsters. Unlike real shock traps, though, you cannot catch a monster this way. Despite this, did you know capturing the Great Thunderbugs with your net will give you the endemic life itself as well as a shock trap? Yes, despite this electrifying insect being incapable of incapacitation, it can be a cheap source of shock traps, alleviating the need for trap tools and Thunderbug capacitors. Now, if only we could net vines for pitfall traps. Do better, trees! Another endemic is the source for tip 2. It's common knowledge that giant Vigorwasps provide eastern honey, a great meal item, no matter your stage of gameplay. And at 4 a pop, that's 4 meals handled, over 4 hours worth of hunting in one little pollen sac. But what if I told you this giant green gnat was holding out on us? If you first pop the pollen on a giant Vigorwasp, then capture it with your net, you will get 4 honey for the pop and another 4 honey for the capture. 8 honey for 1 endemic is a fantastic bargain. On the topic of time and effort well spent, let's look at Nourishing extract, an important item for crafting. Specifically, Ancient Potions, Mega Demon Drug, and Mega Armor Skin. These 3 items in past games were staples in item pouches for most hunters taking on the endgame, fighting against the toughest of monsters. Problem is that Nourishing extract has always been hard to come by. In World, only a few monsters could drop it as a mission reward, or otherwise was included in investigation rewards, namely Paolumu, the Otogarons, and Dodogama. In Wilds, the Nourishing extract is a reward from the Guardian monsters and Zoshia. Farming this Guardian juice can be a bit of a hassle, but the nice thing is low-rank monsters can drop it as a reward, so you don't need to take the time hunting the high-rank equivalents. That said, there is a Guardian monster that can drop the extract that can be felled in just a hit or two, the Guardian Sacrets. The strategy is this. Accept the low-rank mission, spread those wings. Starting in base camp, follow the path down to Area 4, and 3 of the 6 required Sacrets will be here. Once defeated, hop down to the main floor of this locale, and the Sacrets will be either standing or walking in a line. Once these 3 are defeated, the mission is complete. You don't have to worry about carving them, as the reward we want is exclusively a mission completion drop. Sometimes you will get 1 or 2, but as seen here, upwards of 4 or more is possible with only a minute's worth of work. Farm this mission using the Lucky Meal to add 2 drops in your target rewards for potential maximum effectiveness. Plus, that gives you a reason to use all those Kunafa meal vouchers. Many players are aware of strategies that maximize their second weapon slot, whether they use a great sword for wake-up hits, a hunting horn for buffs, heavy bowgun for demon ammo, or even the new sword and shield or longsword that gives the skill Power Stone. This tip goes 1 step deeper. Prior to a hunt, you have the option to prepare. Again, many hunters know that taking the time pre-hunt to consume the various items for buffs is most opportune, as it does not take time away from the hunt, and the timers for things like Armor Skin and Demon Drug do not decrease so long as you are in the hub or a base camp. Again, let's take this another step deeper. There are 3 skills that can maximize the potency of items such as these: Free Meal, Speed Eating, and Item Prolonger. Free Meal gives the chance that an item eaten or drank will not be consumed in the process, giving the benefit of the item while retaining it for another full use. Speed Eating allows for the quick consumption of usable items, and Item Prolonger increases the item's effect duration by 50%. So, prior to a hunt, swap to an armor set that gives you these 3 skills. Take all the buffs you want, then prior to departing, swap armor back to your good set. Since the bonus effects of Speed Eating, Free Meal, and Item Prolonger have already procced, you are quite literally having your cake and eating it too. But let's go even deeper. Using some of these items with frequency, namely the Demon Drug and Armor Skin, can be a little expensive. Between the catalysts and the seeds, that's 4 of the 5 material retrieval slots taken for 2 items. Plus, the Mega Variety, as we discussed, requires the Nourishing extract, which is a little scarce if you're not running the mission over and over and over. If only there was a way to get those effects but not accrue such a high cost. Enter Mushroomancer. Add this skill to your pre-hunt set and watch the benefit sell itself. If you didn't know, Mushroomancer allows for the direct consumption of mushrooms, turning a craftable material into a full-blown consumable with comparable effects. While each of these listed mushrooms has an effect, it's these 2 in particular that we are interested in: Nitro Shrooms and Parashrooms. Only level 2 Mushroomancer is required to use these, and they give the exact same benefit as Demon Drug and Armor Skin, without the hassle of the catalysts that the real McCoy requires. Now, instead of 4 farming slots for Demon Drug and Armor Skin, only 2 are taken, allowing for greater flexibility in farming. I should note that level 3 Mushroomancer allows for Devil's Blight to act like Dash Juice, which can be useful for many weapons. However, the effect of Dash Juice, even with Item Prolonger, is only 4.5 minutes. If it's going to be a long run to the monster, you may lose much of the effect prior to your hunt. But it is a great option as it alleviates the need to manually farm Dash extracts. What's that? Can I go even deeper? Well, there is one final skill that can help make this pre-armor cocktail even more potent. If you are in multiplayer with friends or a lobby with strangers, Wide Range will allow for all the benefits you apply to yourself to be shared with everyone else in your party. In conjunction with Mushroomancer, Free Meal, Speed Eating, and a single Nitro Shroom and Parashroom, you can buff a whole team with Armor Skin and Demon Drug incredibly cheaply, and with the added chance to not even consume the items required. The only downside is your Item Prolonger won't work on the buffs received by your party. However, if your teammates have Item Prolonger on, they will receive the full boosted effect of your consumables. Now that you're all buffed up, what should you go out and hunt? If you perhaps don't have a target in mind, might I recommend Arkveld? Flagship of the game, fairly telegraphed fight, and don't tell anyone else. Incredibly valuable. Between Arkveld's naturally high HR EXP, his parts are the 4th most valuable as smelting fodder for ore or armor spheres, behind only Zoshia, Lagiacrus, and Seregios. While each of those fights may give you more bang for your proverbial buck, each is a harder challenge and more difficult to come by. Zoshia can only be found in the ruins of Waviria, occasionally. Seregios is restricted to the plains, ruins, and arena, while Lagi is even more limited, in the forest and arena. Meanwhile, Arkveld can be found anywhere, typically in many places at once. Fighting him, breaking as many parts as you can, and then exchanging them is a great way to farm for either armor spheres or the ore used for Artian weapon upgrades. The tempered versions of monsters have higher wound and part break resistance, so try to target the non-tempered version for maximum benefit. If you really want to siphon the most out of the gas tank that is Arkveld, then eat the Suja meal, as the Exploiter meal effect will occasionally give 2-part rewards for a single wound break. A while back, I tested capturing versus carving on Arkveld, and in that data I was able to consistently get 8 to 10 wounds before the fight was over. This meal then would probably give around 4 to 6 additional rewards per hunt. While not every wound pop will generate an additional part, if even half of them do, that's an extra 320 to 450 points worth of parts a fight. Be sure to focus the wounds and part breaks, and consider doing this solo or with a friend so that the palicos can tag along and swipe 1 to 3 additional rewards. A word of thanks to my lovely wife and multiplayer partner, Signaltapes, for assisting me with testing for this installment, and as always, her stellar work on the thumbnails. With her assistance, we can showcase the next tip: synchronized sneak attacks. When starting a fight, if you can, try to open with a sneak attack, as this will net a high damage hit fairly quickly and painlessly. For you, that is. If you are in multiplayer, try to do a sneak attack all at the same time to really stack up that first hit damage. This also works for power clashes and offset attacks, but those are a little harder to synchronize. Each hunter's sneak attack will proc the damage, unlike synced wound popping, so coordinate for victory. Anyway, if you made it to the end, I hope you learned something useful and had fun doing it. This video was brought to you by the generous patron member who voted this option as a reward for their continued patronage. As this channel has grown, I wanted to begin expanding my horizons to other games, and so now with Wilds and a small lull till the end of September, I believe this will mark the last video for Wilds for a little bit. 6 months and 800 HRs later, and I'm all but tapped out at the moment. I will of course come back and make more videos for Wilds as content releases, and as ideas come to mind. But I hope you will all join me in my next endeavor. Happy hunting, may your RNG be kind, and the desire sensor be blind. Goodbye for now, but not for long.